and the tables contain the data. So it's a hierarchical map that you have to have into your mind. Database, which is the whole house. Tables, which are apartment in the database, and records, which are the actual data that is into the tables. And you can see the record as the person living in the apartment, and the apartment is a part of the whole building. So let's continue. Okay, now that we know about what is a database, what are relational database management system, what is a table, what is a row and a record, let's talk about SQL or SQL. So what is SQL? SQL is a programming language that is used to manage data held in a relational database management systems. So in this presentation, we will explore some of the fundamental concepts of SQL. So basically, SQL is the language that you will use to talk with RDBMS, with databases. So this is the concept of SQL. It's a programming language just like Python, but a different programming language. And it's used mainly, SQL, it's mainly used to manage data, to look for data, to retrieve data. This is the main goal of SQL. So it's a different goal from Python. You see, Python, for example, you can use it to do many other things, such as web development, develop websites, data analytics, plots, do some calculation, and create some even dashboard. But SQL is only to manage data. So when we talk about SQL, we have two main concepts. We have the DDL and the DML. What is DDL and what is DML? DDL stands for Data Definition Language. It's a subset of SQL that deal with defining structures in databases. It is used to create tables, modify tables, delete tables, and set up relationship between them. And the second one is Data Manipulation Language, DML, which is a subset of SQL used to interact with the data inside tables without changing the table structure. So let's put it this way. Data definition language is what helps you build the whole building, which is the database, the building and the apartments. And data manipulation language, it's what help you, for example, know who lives in the building or who lives in which apartment. And if you wanna see some, let's say, some similarities between the people who live in the apartment, you use what we call data manipulation language. So data definition language is to build the database, and data manipulation language is to retrieve the data in the database. Okay? If you have any question here, let me know, because this part is very important to understand the difference between data definition language and data manipulation language. So let's continue. So first, we will talk about data definition language. So data definition language, as I said before, is a subset of SQL, and it defines and modifies database structure. DDL commands handle the schema, not the data itself. So when you use data definition language, it's just to create the database, modify the database, delete the database, and add the structure of the database. With the data definition language, you cannot manage or manipulate the data itself. It's just to create the structure around the data. And we have um, the most common commands used when doing data definition is the create command, the insert into command, the alter command, the drop command. So what does each command do? We have the create command. The create command builds new databases or tables. It establishes the initial structure and relationship. So with the create command, you can create a database. We will do some hands-on manipulation in a few minutes, but first get the theory. The create command helps you create the database. Next, we have the insert into command. This command is used to add new rows of data into a table. Next, we have the alter command. The alter command is used to change an existing table structure. You can add, modify, or drop column with this command. And the last one is the drop command, which permanently deletes databases or tables. You have to use this command with caution, as the data loss is irreversible. Here, we do the data definition language for you to like to see the bigger picture. But as a data analytics, you don't often work with data definition language. It's more the work of the database administrator. This class will mainly focus on data manipulation language, but for this session, I introduce you to data definition language, at least for you to have an idea of what it is. So before moving to the next slide, we have to keep in mind that the data definition language is a subset of SQL that helps you to define and modify database structure. The main commands of the data definition language are the create command, the insert into command, the alter command, and the drop command. So still here, let's talk about the SQL constraint. The SQL constraint is still part of the data definition language. So the SQL constraint are rules applied to tables, columns, to control the data that can be inserted or updated. They help ensure data accuracy, validity, and consistency. So we have the most common SQL constraints. We have 6 most common, but the one that will interest us the most are the primary key and the foreign key. So what is the primary key? The primary key uniquely identifies each row in a table, and the foreign key ensures values in common match values in another table. In a column, match values in another table. So here, what is it? What does it mean? It means that when you create a table, you have the columns, right? So you can add the primary key constraint to a column so that each row in each row in the table is uniquely identified by the primary key. And the foreign key, what does it do? It ensures value in a column match value in another table. So basically, usually you will see that when you have a primary key in one table, you may have this, when you have a primary key in one table, and here a primary key is a column, you may have this same exact table in another table, this same exact column in another table. Don't worry if you cannot visualize what I'm saying. We will do all that soon. We will do the practice soon. So here, the main SQL constraint you have to know is primary key and foreign key. Other than that, you have the not null constraint, which is a constraint that prevents a column from having null values. The unique that ensures all value in a column are different. The check that validates values against a condition. The default that assigns a default value if none is provided. Those are like good to know, but don't for now don't put too much attention on this. It's just for you to know. The main thing that you have to put your attention on is primary key and foreign key. Okay, here we have an example of how to create alter table, drop table, and insert value into a table. Let's first read the example, and then I will move to SQL Server Management Studio. I will implement this example, and you will see the results. So first, we create a table student, and pay attention to the syntax because it's very important. The syntax when you're writing in a programming language is very important. I think you might have seen it with Python, but it's the same with SQL. You have to know the syntax because it defines everything. So first, to create a table, we have the command or the statement create table student. Oh, sorry. Create table student, and the create table allows us to create the table. Now, when we create the table, how will we define the columns into the table? So here you have to state it in the command. So when you type create table, you open the parenthesis, and then you have student ID, which is the name of the column you want to create. And then you add int. Int is the type of data you want into the column. And then you add primary key to state that this column must be the primary key of the table student. And then you add the second column, which is first name. And first name is a varchar, which is the data type of text. And you open the parenthesis, you add the number. The number is the length of the text that this column can have. For example, if you put first name varchar 2, it will only be possible to put like, for example, a name with 2 characters. So here you define all that in the syntax. You have to define all that in order to create a table. So here we have first name, last name, which is also a varchar, birth date, which is a date type of data, city, which is a varchar. And then we close the parenthesis, and then we add a semicolon. So here, before even knowing the exact things to write when you write a command, just know that every time that you write a SQL command, you have to add semicolon at the end of the command. So here you can see that when we take the second command, insert into student, like the student table that we created, we want to insert into those fields, like into the student ID, first name, last name, birth date, city fields. We want to insert the values 7, Emma, Duran, 2001 0710, and Lil. So each of these values correspond to the fields or to the columns. So 7 is for the columns student ID, Emma is for first name, Duran is for last name, the date is for the birth date, and Lille is for city. So this is the second command, and the third one is alter table. So we use the alter table statement to add a new column to the table. So we alter the table student, and then we want to add the column email, which will be a varchar 100. And at the end, we have the semicolon. And the last one is the drop table command that allow us to delete the table we created. But you have to notice that you have to remember that when you use a drop table, when you lose the data, it's over. You cannot get the data back. You have to create it back. So here, I will try to execute it, and let me show my SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, can you see my SQL Server screen?
Yes.
Okay, first I will need all of you to open SQL Server as well.
Okay.
We will do it all together. When you have it open, please let me know so that if you come to this screen with the Connect Server tab, let me know.
Okay. Mine is there, I think.
Okay,
Do
and
I,
the others, is everyone?
do I have to click connect to connect to it? Oh,
Yeah. Wait first. Just leave
okay.
it as I did. I
Okay.
want everyone to tell me if they are on this screen. It's very important, please.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm
so
on
good.
it.
Okay, very good. So make sure to have the trust server certificate on like this, and then you click on connect.
Trust server certificate. So if it doesn't have the trust server certificate, that's not the right one?
If it doesn't have it, you might have option section with 2 arrows.
Okay, I saw that one.
Yeah, if you click on the option,
Uh-huh.
you might find the trust server certificate.
Okay.
Is it there?
Yes, I clicked on it.
Yeah, click on it and then click on OK.
Okay, there's connect, the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you click on connect and it worked, it means that now you are connected to your SQL server on your computer. And here you can see that you have this tab with the name of the server, and here it's my computer. So everyone might have the name of their computer, and you have different folders. So you have the first one, which is databases. Here is in this folder, all the database you will create or use will be stored into this folder. Okay. So to to be able to write command to create database and manipulate data, what we will do is we will come here onto new query, and we click on it. We will have a blank page, and on this blank page, you see, this is where we will write the programming codes to create data or to manage data, to request data, to query the data. Okay? Do you all have this blank page?
Yeah, mine is on it.
I do.
Okay, very good. So let's do the example of the let's do this example, okay? So we have to create the, excuse me. Yeah, we have to create the table student with student ID, which is a int and primary key, first name, varchar, and last name, first name, last name, birth date, and city. So here, how we will do that? We will first, before creating the table, we will create the database, because the table is a part of the database, and if we don't have a database, we cannot have a table. So
Okay.
first, first thing first, we will create the database, and let's name it school database. So let's start create database. Cool.
Quick questions, Prof.
Yes.
Is SQL like case sensitive? I see that your create database is all uppercase.
No,
Is it
SQL
like
is
case
not,
sensitive?
it's not natively sensitive. You can use let's do it. I can do this, create. You see the
Oh, okay.
database is not case sensitive.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So create database cool and semicolon. So here, to execute it, I click on execute, and you see query executed successfully. Do you have this message when you execute?
Where did you go to execute?
Oh, here, execute.
Okay, execute. Okay.
Yeah, mine says completed.
Yeah. Command completed successfully. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Now go to this icon, refresh, and click on it. You see that you have the school database that is now present. Do you have that?
Yes.
Very good. You can see that into the school database, you have some native folders,
That's right.
and the table we will create will be stored into this folder table.
Okay.
You see? So now that we created the database, what we have to do is, before creating the table, we have to tell SQL that we want to use the database school. So we just type use school, semicolon. And before executing, I forgot to tell you something, is one, like, the best way to execute the queries in SQL is to select the line you want to execute and then click on execute. Before we didn't do that because it was the first line, but usually when you have a lot of command to execute, or a lot of queries to write, when you write a query, it's better to just execute the query you want the result of. So here, for example, we created the database school, and now we want to tell SQL that, okay, now we want to use the database we created. So we select the whole line, use school, and then we click on execute. It will say query executed successfully. So now what does that mean? It means that all the table we will create or
I
all
got
the
an
data.
error message. Or I got an error message. I'm not sure.
You have an error?
Mhm.
Did you put the semicolon at the end?
Yes.
I think I got the same error message. I think it's like because we already made it a school database, it doesn't like that.
Did you just click on execute or did you select the whole line before executing?
I clicked on the word line and then execute.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You have to select the line use school. No, use school. The whole line. No. Let me show you. Look at my screen. You have to select it like this. And then you click on execute.
Yeah, I still got that error message.
Okay, you still have the error.
It says
Can
query complete with error.
you share your screen, please? Database could already exist. Did you select the line use school?
Yes.
No, you're not selecting, you're just clicking on the line. Selecting is
Oh.
yeah, like this.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, every time you want to execute a line, you have to select it like this. Okay, but because when you just click on execute, it will try to execute every line, but we already created the database cool. That's why you had the first the error, because it SQL thinks that you want to create a database that already exists. So you have to select the line you want to execute. So let's continue. Let me share my screen. Okay, so now we leave one space like this. And before, oh, I forgot something. Let's add some comments to structure everything. So here, before creating the database, to add a comment into SQL, you have to type minus twice, minus, and then we have database creation. So here I did the first line I added is to add some comments in order to comment your code and to know what you are doing. So afterward, we will add the command for table creation. Table, let's say student creation. And then you type enter. And now we will create the table.
Quick question, teacher.
Yes.
When I look at the database creation that you added at the top, after the created database, it's like a V shape, right?
It's what?
There's a V shape, like kind of like a V shape facing downward. Mine is like, yeah, you created the database, right? Database creation at the top, the one at the top. Then the second one, line in blue, it says create database, right?
Yes.
Right at the far left, there is a little arrow pointing down. but mine is a minus. Does that make any difference, or it doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't make any difference. It's just to say that it's you see
Okay. All right.
you can minimize or maximize. It's just to say that all the table or all the work you will do inside is considered for this database.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so let's create the table student. And to create the table student, we use the create table command. So here, come back here, create table student. Create table student, and we have the student ID as first column. Let's do this way. We have student ID, and then we add the type of the data, which is an int, and we add the primary key constraint, primary key, and then we add comma. Now we list the other column of the table. The second one was first name. First name space. This is a text type. So the text type is varchar. We open the parenthesis. Let's say we want a length of 50. So we put 50. Next is last name. Which is also a varchar 50. So I will just copy and paste it. Next, the birth date. Which is a date format, date type of data, excuse me. And the last one is the city, which is also a varchar. And now we close the initial bracket here. And we add a semicolon. So this is how you create a table into SQL. You use the create table command. Now afterwards, you give the name of the table you want to create. Then you open the parentheses, and inside the parentheses, you give the column names, the type, the role for primary key, and so on. You continue with the column name, type, column name, type, column name, type until the end. You close the bracket, the parenthesis, and then you add a semicolon, and now we will execute it. So to execute, I will select the line just like this. And then I will click on execute. I have a completion time query executed successfully. So now I come back here, I refresh. I go to the school database. I go to tables. And now I can see that I have dbo.student. Depending on some computers, you may have just student. On others, you may have dbo.student. It's not there is no issue having one or the other. It just means that your table was created successfully. So if I click on the plus near the table, here I can see the columns, and I can see that I have the columns student ID, first name, last name, birth date, and city. Here you can notice that next to student ID, you have a key
That's right.
icon. It's because it's a primary key.
Mhm.
And you have the data type, which is a int, and you have the constraint not null. If you remember, when I told you about constraints in the slides, there was the not null as well. When you have the primary key constraint, usually automatically it will add the not null constraint as well. But let's not dive too much into the constraints. We will see it in the future, but just it's just for you to have the idea of it. And here you have the first name, which is a varchar, which is null for now. It means that it can accept the null values. Last name, birth date, and city. So now that we created our first table, what we will do is we will try to modify the table and add a new column. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 column. We will add a sixth column, which will be the email column. So add a new column. So to add a column, if we go back to the slide, to add a column, we use the alter table student add email varchar. So let's go back to SQL. So here we type the command alter table. We add the name of the table we want to alter, student. And then we type add value, add email, excuse me. Add email. And here we can just copy the type varchar we had, paste it, leave a space. And here, let's say that someone can have a long email. So let's say that we add 150 character available. And then we add the semicolon at the end. So this is the command to add a new column, alter table, student, add email varchar. So after the alter table, you have the name of the table you want to add, and then you give the order, okay, add me the column email, which will contains text of the length of 150 character at least. 150 character at least, yes. And now we execute it. We select the whole line and then we execute. And here what we have, query executed successfully. We can come back to refresh. We have our DBO the student. We want to see the column and we can see that we have a new column here. Do you have the same result?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Very good. So it means that so far we know how to create a database, use the database to we created, and when we're using the database we created, we create some tables, and we know how to modify the table in order to add a new column to the table. Let's say that, for example, we want to delete the column we just added. We want to delete the column email. Does someone have an idea of how we can do it? It's the same logic as the one we used to add a new column.
I think where there's add, you just put a drop, right?
Exactly. So let's do drop. And now let's try to execute. Will it work? No, there is a syntax error because when we use drop, we don't need to put the type of data. We just let the name of the column we want to drop, and then we execute.
Okay. Just the drop email.
Could not drop constraints, see previous error. Oh, email is not a constraint. Okay, let's see. Instead of drop, let's see delete.
Okay.
Let's see, drop. Oh, don't work. Let me see the reason why. Oh, yeah. Excuse me, I forgot. So, instead of just drop, we have to add drop column. Now, if we try this, yeah, it worked.
Email.
Let me do the side here. Okay, you see, when you use the drop column syntax or command, here you can see that we don't have email anymore.
Right.
So yeah, let's let's first let's add back the email column. alter table, student, add email with the data type. Let's execute this line only. And now we refresh. No, let's close this and refresh. And now we have the email. Oh, I didn't do it the right way. I just put 50 character instead of 150. So in order, I will just delete it, change, and now re-execute this one. Minimize this, refresh. And yeah, now that's that's it. Did you add back the email column?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So now that we created the database, we created the tables, we added a new column to the table we created. What we will do is we will put the data into the table. So let's say in data insertion. So in order to put the data into the table, because right now all our all the fields or all the columns of our table are empty. There is nothing into the database. So in order to put data into the table, we have to use the command insert into. We type the name of the table we want to add data. So it's student. Yes. Insert into student. Now we need to have to open the parentheses. Oh, sorry. And then we need to type the name of the field we want to add data into. So we want student ID. So we take student ID. So we are trying to say to SQL, okay, you see the table student, insert into that table and especially into those fields the record we will give you. So insert into student ID, comma, first name. Last name, birth date, and city. Now we close the parentheses. So we are telling SQL insert into the table student and especially into those fields. We can come to the line and then values. And now we will give him the values we wanted to put, or we will give him the data we wanted to put into. So we open the parenthesis. let's say the student ID, let's say we want 1, like the first ID. So we will, and the type is an int. So it's a integer number. So 1, comma. Now, first name is a varchar, is a string. It's a chain of character. So let's say we open the quotation mark and then we say whatever, what can we say? Let's say Joseph. Then outside the quotation mark, we put a comma. Now, the third field is last name. Let's say we put Fabrice. Close the quotation mark. We put a comma. And now the date. Let's say we put 2025. Let's say we put the date of today, 06 06 21. We close the quotation mark, and now the city. Let's put New York. New York. Close the quotation mark, and now we close the parenthesis. And now we put the semicolon. Okay, now actually these 2 lines is the same line. I could have just did this, it will be the same. Because at the end, I put the semicolon at the end, and if I want, let's say if I don't have enough space on my screen, I can just go back on the line. And now when I want to execute it, I will select those 2 lines from the semicolon at the end to the beginning. And then I click on execute. And I have the query executed successfully. And now if I refresh, do something. Oh, okay. Now to see or to check if the data is really inserted into in my database, we will type a data manipulation command just to see. So the data manipulation command is that let's say first I put check the data. So the command is select from select star, excuse me, from students. Semicolon at the end. And now I execute. So the command to check the data is select star from student. And now I execute. And here I can see that I have the table with the student ID, first name, last name, birth date, city, email, which is null. Didn't I drop the email? Let's say, oh, I didn't drop it. I created back. So yeah, we will add the email data later, but It's just for you to see how we create the table and how we put data into the table. Do you have this result?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So here I think we forgot to add the email. Let's try to do something. Let's just add a fake email A B C D E alt. Let me do the alt. My keyboard is a bit broken, so the alt I have to, let's say, at gmail.com. abcd alt gmail.com. And let's try to execute this one again. I think it won't work, but yeah.
I think after the city on top, you need to put private email.
Oh yeah, that's true. Thank you. Email. What do I have this? Let me see. Primary key constraints cannot enter duplicate into DBO student. The duplicate key value is 1. The statement has been terminated. You see here, I have an error. And the error says violation of primary key constraint, primary key student. Do you know why we have this issue? Do you have an idea?
Because we're trying to create a new row that has the same primary key as the one we just created.
Very good. It's because we're trying to create a new record or a new row that has the number 1 as value, but we already created one row that already had number 1, and since it's a primary key, it must be unique. And it comes back to here, the constraints. You see those constraints? When you type when you add the primary key constraint to a column, it will automatically add the unique and the not null constraints. The primary key, unique, and not null are most of the time they are linked together. So when you put primary key to a column, it will SQL will know and will automatically add not null and unique, because the primary key must not be a null value or an empty value, and it must be unique in order to ensure all the values in the column are different. So here, what we can do is instead of adding this, we will add another value. We can do this, and to add another value, what we will do is simply we can come back here. We remove the semicolon, we come back, and then we add values, and here we can copy that and modify. So instead of 1, we put 2. Instead of Joseph, let's put Mary. Instead of Fabrice, let's put Scott. That's the only name that comes to my mind. Scott. And here for the date, let's put 1997 03 28. Here, let's change the city to Washington. And here, let's change the email to A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's copy this as well. Okay, let's try to execute to see. Okay, it worked. And now let's try to check. Please pay attention to the syntax. I added another insert into student with the column names, and then I added the values, and then I put the semicolon at the end, and then I selected the two lines and executed it. Okay. And now let's check if, okay, we can see that now in our table, we have two rows with the data in it. Do you have this result? Or do you have this result, or you have an issue somewhere?
I think I'm having an issue.
You're having an issue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you share your screen? Actually, the goal here is to make the most possible error, because that's how we will learn.
That's right.
Programming is just about making error and find the solution. Making error, find the solution. There is no programmer that will tell you that he never made an error. Don't be afraid of it. It's totally normal. Even me till this day, you see, that's why I even try to do it with you, because even me, I make some error and I try to find a solution to it. That's how you program.
Okay.
Whatever the language, Python, SQL, Java, when you will type, you will have some error. That's totally normal. So yeah, you can share your screen so that I will help you with it. There are more columns in the insert statements than values specified in the values. So they said that there are more columns into the statement, the inserts into statement. So let's count the column. So you have student ID, first name, last name, birth date, city, birth date again, and email. Now try to execute. Okay. Now try to check the data. Okay, that's good.
Perfect. Thank you.
So don't be afraid to make error. When you make the error and the application tells you you made an error, try to read the error because they will always give you the message corresponding to the error. Try to read the error and you will find out. That's how you work. That's how you program.
Yeah, I'll share mine if you don't mind.
You have an error as well?
Yes.
Yeah, can you please share your screen?
Sure. This is where I met.
Okay, so incorrect syntax near. Oh, it's because the quotation mark of the dates 2025-06-21. You
Right.
didn't put it the right way. You missed one quotation mark at the beginning.
Oh, right here.
Yes.
Like that.
Now
In this one as well, I guess, right? The one in the book.
Joseph Abres. Yes.
Okay.
And also wait.
Okay.
One, close, one, close, one, close, one, close. Oh, you forgot to put after the first New York, you forgot to put the comma after the quotation mark. No, no, comma, now quotation mark.
Okay.
Very good. So in the second as well, after the comma and quotation mark.
Do I have to leave space or not really?
Excuse me?
Do I have to leave space after the comma or it doesn't matter?
No, you have to always put the comma after the quotation mark because the comma it tells SQL that oh this is the data he want to put in
Okay.
a specific column. If
Oh,
you
okay.
do it, you will have an error.
Okay.
So now try to execute.
Both of them at the same time?
Yeah, you can execute. If you already, you can try it, you will see the result.
Okay. Oh,
Okay,
one.
now check the data. Everything is good. Check the data.
I check the data.
Yes.
And execute. Oh, okay. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. You see, also, there are some tips when I talk to you like this, there's the tips I give you, the tips I even use myself. Sometimes when you see, for example, when you wanted to execute both of the commands at the same time,
Uh-huh.
sometimes you have to play like this with the app. Like you have to
Uh,
try things in order to find out.
that's very true. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now that we created the table, we created the columns, and we put the data in it. Now we have a database with a table and with the data in it. So we can do let me wait. Oh, here. We will see the last comment, which is the database. So deleting database. So if we come back to the slides, the command to delete a database or a table first is drop table. So we will type drop table, drop table, and the name of the table, which is student in our case. And then we type the semicolon. And now we can execute. Query executed successfully. And now let's refresh here. No. Let's refresh one more time and check table. Yeah, you see that we don't have the table student anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we deleted the table and we lost all the data we have in it. So, yeah, this is the main, like, at least as a data analyst, I would say the main thing you have to know about data definition language is this: how to create a table, how to create a database, how to create table, how to modify table, how to add data into the table. Because as a data analyst, most of the work you will have to do it will be with data manipulation language. How, when you have the data already, how can you query the data to see, for example, all the data that we have in the tables or in the database with the command we just type here, select star from student. We will see that we next in the next session we will only focus on data manipulation language. This was an introduction session for you to know about databases, RDBMS, how to create database and all. So now that we did this mini hands-on exercise, let's
So if you, sorry, teacher, if you delete delete database, like we deleted it, it's gone.
yeah,
So
it's gone.
if you want to retrieve it, you can't retrieve it back.
You can't retrieve it anymore.
Oh, okay. All right.
And you see, that's why we say that RDBMS,
Mhm.
as you can see, they offer superior data integrity consistency compared to spreadsheet. It supports
Mm,
multi-users access. So you see, for example, in companies,
mhm,
when you use a database, you will use the database according to the permits you have.
mm.
So, and usually it's a database administrator who gives permit to the users.
Okay.
So, depending on how he um he structured his database, he will you will not have maybe as a data analyst, you will not have the access or the permits to delete
Okay.
database or table. You will have only the permits you need to do your work.
Okay. Makes sense.
So yeah, so let's do a quick comparison of DDL versus DML. As we saw today, DDL, data definition language, allows you to define the structure of the database. It focuses on the database schema. A database schema, mm, let's say, is the architecture of the database. Here, for example, in our database, school, we only had one table. But there are some database where you have a lot of table. You can even have hundreds of table in one database. Let me show you a quick example of a database with different table. Wait, let me see it here. Give me 1 minute, please.
Okay.
Okay, now you can see it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so here, for example, we have a relational database with 3 tables. So we have the student courses. Here, you can see that student has it has 2 columns, ID and name.
Mm.
Same with course has ID and name.
Mm.
And here, the student courses has 2 columns as well, student ID and course ID. Here, we can, let's say, we can see the principle of primary of and foreign key. Here, student ID has one primary key, student has one primary key, which is student ID. Courses has its primary key, which is course ID. But this table, student course, has only student ID and course ID, which are the primary keys of the table students and courses. And in the case of student course, student ID and course ID are foreign keys of the table. So basically, a foreign key is a column that is a primary key in another table. So in courses, we have the courses ID, which is a primary key in the table courses, but which is a foreign key is the student courses table. I think it's a bit confusing at first, but with time you will understand it better. But what you have to understand is a foreign key in a table is a primary key in another table.
Mm.
So student courses has student ID as a foreign key, but student ID is a primary key in student table.
Mm.
And this link of primary key, foreign key is what we use to create links between tables. You can see that this table and this table is connected, is linked. It's because of the primary key here, which is a foreign key here.
Mm.
And this link with between table will be important when we will manipulate data, when we will want to merge tables together in order to retrieve data. For now, just know the theory that a foreign key is a primary key of another table. And here you can see another database with different tables. You see, we have student, course, seat, class, section, professor, instructor. And you can see that somehow those tables are linked. For now, just it's just for you to have a visual representation of what a database can be what can be found inside a database. In our case, for example, in what we did today, we just created the student table. We just created the student table. But when you will work as a data analyst, you may face databases with hundreds of tables. But in our case, it's not important to really know like to do the creation of database and stuff. It's the work of the database administrator, but it's good to have the knowledge about it. So let's get back to the slides. So yeah, so data definition language defines the structure and focuses on the database schema. So the database schema is what, as I said, the architecture of the database. So the commands create, alter, drop. The purpose of the database data definition language is to build and modify tables and databases. The DML on the other side, or data manipulation language, helps you manage the data and interact with data inside tables. The commands are insert, select. Actually, insert is more of a DDL, but select, update, delete. The purpose is to retrieve, add, change, or remove data. We will dive deep into that next week or on the next session. So both DDL and DML are integral part of SQL. Understanding their distinct role is crucial for effective database management. And yeah, that's what I said. DDL is the part of the database administrator. DML is our part as data analysts. We will focus more in general in this course on DML, data manipulation language. And you see, when we type the select star from student, it's a data manipulation language, and it allows us to see all the data that we have in the table students. We manipulate the data in order to see them. So, yeah, at the end, we have a simple exercise where we, you have to create a table, courses, with course ID as a primary key, title as varchar, and credit as an int. I think, wait. Oh, okay. So I thought we didn't have enough time, but yeah, I think I've overdone my time. So yeah, you can do this as a homework, and next week we will correct it. It's very simple. You just follow the example we did, and yeah, the example we did here. You already have the comments, and I shared the class material on the drive. You can have the slides on it. But before we finish, I forgot to tell you that once you are done with the query file, you have to save it. So to save it, you just press Control S, and it will open a new tab for you to locate the place where you want to save it. So you locate it. It's better if you could create a folder, especially for SQL scripts. You see, for example, me in my case, yeah, you have you and you can name it SQL data or DDL script, and then you save it on your computer so that when you will open SQL Server Management Studio next time, you can just click on File, Open, you go to the folder. Let's say it's document. Yeah, script. Oh no. Fine. Script. No, it's not here. No, actually, you can just drag and drop it into the app. By that I mean, yeah. Can someone share his screen so that I will show you directly?
Okay, I can share mine. More share. Adjust. This is mine.
Okay, very good.
I just closed it, but I was trying to open it again. Open.
No. To open it, because I don't think you will find it in the.
Okay.
To open it, go to the file folder
Okay.
where you stored it, and then you drag it from the file
And drop it.
folder.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's in the desktop. SQL. Just like this.
Okay. Yeah, you see, now you have it.
Yep.
So that's a way of having the script we already used, and based
Okay.
on that script, you will create the table. You will create the table from the homework.
Okay.
You have access to the Google Drive, right? To the
Yes, I
classroom,
do.
excuse me. Yeah. So it's at
It's
the
right
end of
here. Let me see.
the slide. So at the
Yep.
end of the slide, you have the exercise, and you will try to play with it.
Okay.
It's a small exercise for you. So do you have any question?
The homework, I see that we don't, I mean, it's just to create a table. We don't insert any, is that
Yeah,
right?
you can insert the value you want. I just like
Okay.
let your imagination
All right.
just be creative.
Okay. Good to know. Let me stop sharing.